Welcome to the Nitpicking Nerds in another ranking every commander for Commander Legends.
Yeah, this time we're doing the non-partner legendaries, the solo commanders.
I snapped too soon. Finger guns are a new thing. I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. If you saw the partner ranks, you're probably dying to see the non-partner commander ranks. You can go to the Patreon and you can go to the Discord. That all just jumbles up into a mess of support.
Yep. So that's everything there. I'm super excited for this video. Are you excited for this video?
Yes. As a quick reminder, if you somehow haven't seen the partner rankings we did, which is the same thing as this, but we can't do 70 commanders in one video, that we're doing a 50-point scale, 10 points each for fun, power, artwork, coolness, uniqueness. Not in that order. Doesn't matter. Going on to the first one, we're going to talk about Captain Vargas Wrath real quick. He's at 822 overall, above Aiden Oakenshield, below Blind Seer.
That should tell you something.
That should tell you about how good it is. Blue and a red for a 1/1. When it attacks other pirates you control, get +1/+1 for each time you've cast a commander from the command zone this game. As you know, or maybe as you don't know, we're only grading them as commander because this is ranking every commander. That's the series name. So this is terrible.
This card's really bad. Every time you cast him, he starts pumping more and more. But it's weird because he's better when he dies, but also he costs more when he dies.
He's a 1/1 that has to attack.
He's not very good. He's just not a great, strong card. He's pretty weak. Art is fine, and there's just nothing remarkable about this card at all. His story was super boring.
No, we're going to honestly blow through the first couple of these because they're nothing.
There's just nothing to talk about here. This card was boring. It's boring on every aspect.
Just for us. We're not interested in it, and we don't see the power, so we just move on.
Yeah, the 4 for fun is only because pirates are cool.
Yes. Nostro, Voice of the Crags, coming in at 797. By the way, there are over 1,000 legendary creatures now. Above Empress Galena, below Infernal Kieran. 1 and a Jeskai for a 3/3. Tap. Choose one. X is the number of spells you've cast this turn. Scry X. Nostro deals X damage to target creature, or you gain X life.
This card's boring. I just don't care. It doesn't do anything. All the abilities are bad. If you cast 3 spells in one turn, that's a lot of spells to cast in one turn, and now you can kill something with 3 butt. Get out of here. Garbage.
It's Scry. The Scry 3. I mean, this card doesn't have to be busted. It's just not anything that I would ever play for power or otherwise reasons. It's just like, okay, you can give a Death Touch and Lifelink and then use it as a pinger. But I don't think that's what this card was intended for. It's kind of like just a bad Storm payoff. I mean, just missed, which is fine. We can move on to Averna, the Chaos Bloom. 748 between Munda and Kaiser.
These all have 1 power. Wow. But she is a 4/2 for Teamer. And whenever you cascade, you can put a land from among the exile cards into play. This card stinks. It doesn't do anything. You need to play Cascade. There's not that many good Cascade cards. It just doesn't do anything. It's kind of fun. Cascading is fun. Art's fine. 3 wispy colors of magic.
Yeah, this seems more like a 99 card. And so does Captain Vargas Wrath. Mm-hmm. They seem like they're like different and better in those decks. Like where you can play Averna in your Maelstrom Wanderer deck, always have 2 Cascades. Command Zone was just talking about this. They said there were like 8 Cascade spells in Teamer before Commander Legends.
Oh.
It's like just none.
Yeah, it's really boring. The card's just not good.
And you might whiff. That's a feel bad.
Oh, God, that would feel horrible.
Right? Like Cascade a 5-drop, 4-drop. Oh, that Commander did nothing.
Great. Next, we have Tuya Bearclaw. What's it, Tuya Bearclaw? Above Nadir, Agent of the Dusk Note, and below Meogen of Life's Web. 1 red, green for a 2/2. When it attacks, it gets +X/+X, where X is the greatest power among other creatures you control. She rides the biggest creature in the battle, which we love.
Yes, the only thing worth mentioning is her lore, where she finds an orphaned bear cub, tames it, and then rides it into battle and destroys everybody. And
also,
she's Sarkhan's right-hand woman, but this is in the Dragons timeline.
She... beyond anything, it wouldn't even matter. She would still be a 10. Riding a bear into battle is so badass. It's hard to beat that.
I said Sarkhan. I meant Surak. Sorry.
Yeah, they have really similar names. That was a bad design choice. Wizards, get your poop together.
Too close. Belborka, Spectral Sergeant. 594 between said Meogen and, spoiler, because it's the next one on the list, he is 2 red, white for a star 5. Note the converted mana cost of each card as it's put into exile. At the beginning of your upkeep, you exile top card of your library, and its power is equal to the biggest thing that's been exiled this turn. So if you go to your turn, exile a 6-drop, he's a 6/5. Now, if If you play the 6-drop and attack, still a 6/5. It works for the whole turn.
Yeah, you didn't mention that you can't play those spells. Yeah, you can play all the spells exiled with him. That's the whole point. He basically is a draw an extra card. He's decent for Boros. Probably more of a 99 guy.
Yeah, it's like it's the same text as Outpost Siege.
Yeah, this card's just whatever.
No, it's pretty medium. It feels not good. It feels really hard to get him up to. You can never really get him above 10.
Half of your deck, or well, 1/3 of your deck is at least lands. Those are all whiffs. Those whiff, and he gets 0 power.
Well, you can play the land.
Yeah.
But it doesn't give him.
It gives no power.
I'm not trying to play a 0/5.
Yeah, exactly. A 0/5 that draws a card on your upkeep. A pseudo draw too. Ooh, no, thank you.
I'd like to see this if we flesh out this exile thing more, but as far as it is now, it looks like there's nowhere to go. You can exile things, but now what?
I don't know.
I don't know what to go after that.
Now he's big power for 1 turn. Ugh.
The biggest power is he's a 10/5.
At least his art looks good. And his story was so boring. What was it?
He was a rookie he was Agris Costa's rookie, and he died. And then he just haunted. He had life insurance, so he haunted Agris. It was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah. He had life insurance through Orzhov. Yeah.
Oh, and he solved his own murder.
Yeah.
The only person in history to solve his own murder.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Next, we have Lathio, the Bounteous Dawn, right above Belbarka, and right below No Yandar, Royal Shaper.
2 green and a white for a 2/2 lifelink. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain life this turn, you distribute that many +1/+1 counters among other creatures you control. Weird that they gave this lifelink and then we're like, no, you can't beef it up.
It's weird that they give it lifelink, but on the same note, it's a 2/2 for 4.
Well, this thing's like never attacking, and it can't pump itself up. So why even bother with the lifelink?
That would make it if I was designing this card, like if I could go back, I'd probably give it flying and make it a 3/3. And now this card seems really playable because now it has evasion. It can get in every turn.
That'd be a Pegasus.
Yeah, well, it can be a Pegasus. It can be a flying unicorn.
It doesn't actually matter what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Make it a flying unicorn. Whatever. I'm in.
Yeah, power's kind of low. There is a cool life gain counters thing you can do with it. Mm-hmm. That's really it. We can move on.
Yeah. What else?
The art's great.
Yeah, the art looks good. It's other than its legs. I don't like its legs.
I like its legs.
Do you? Because they look weird.
Love its legs.
Ugh.
Next, we got Gore Muldrak, Amphenologist, between Ixidor and Danica Patrick. It is $5.90, and Gore says he costs 1 blue-green for a 3/2. You and permanents you control have protection from salamanders. At the beginning of your end step, each player who controls the fewest creatures creates a 4/3 salamander warrior creature token. This is such a weird card.
This is bad. It's really just not good. You're giving your opponents resources. You're going to try and take advantage of that resource more, but at the same time, if you're playing against a control deck, they're gonna revel in this. They're not playing creatures. Just fine, give me free 4/3s every turn. I will always have the least creatures.
The issue is this is a creature. So if anyone has none, you don't get any salamanders. I get that you have protection from salamanders, but that's not going to last that long. If someone wants to attack you, they're just going to kill your free salamander maker. There's cool stuff where you can play cards that make other creatures salamanders, but once again, that's relying on your 3/2 with no abilities.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds too fragile. Chandelar is apparently going to be destroyed by salamander people.
Who's from Chandelar? Tell us in the comments. We could not think.
Which planeswalker is from Chandelar?
Yeah, Chandelar is a popular and well-known plane, but I don't know who's from it.
Yeah, we thought Chandra, but that might have either been Old Lore, because she's from Kaladesh.
Yeah, she's from Kaladesh.
So I don't know, or maybe I'm just mistaken.
Yeah.
But we can move on to Quain, Itinerant Meddler, between Glacian and Drana at $5.86. Quain is blue-white for a 1/3. Tap, each player may draw a card. Each player who does gains 1 life. This is, again, no, we're just going to skip the power because there's just not applicable. This card is not very strong.
Yeah, this card's boring. It also gives way too much to your opponents. It only technically does something. You have to be punishing them. You really need it's also May, so you can't even punish them.
How are you punishing them? I don't understand.
Well,
I'm confused what you could even take advantage of.
Well, if it wasn't a May, you could play Hull Breacher.
Right. But Hull Breacher works, but it doesn't work with Narset. Because they just draw their first card that way.
This card stinks. It doesn't do anything. His lore is kind of cool.
But the lore is great.
It's the tortoise and the hare, because the turtle, I can't remember his name. Arcalos is super slow and does nothing. He's super fast and lives in the moment. He doesn't think about what he's going to do. He just does it. He hates that.
Runs around bothering Arcalos because he just wants to get a reaction out of him.
He runs circles. He literally runs circles around him because he wants him to react in some way. Because Arcalos is slow and takes his time with everything.
Yeah, if he wants us to react though, he didn't get very much.
I love his lore though. It's so cute. It's a tortoise and the hare. It's great.
Also, it's one of the only rabbits, right?
I think so.
if not the first rabbit. I don't know if that was a new creature type, but I certainly... Vizardrix is a rabbit, maybe?
I don't know.
I don't know. Rayav, Master Smith, 538 between Gerard and Pramicon. He's red-white for a 2/2. Whenever an equipped creature or enchanted creature you control attacks, it gains double strike. Super simple. This one has way more power. We're going to actually be able to start to talk about what these decks can do. This is really good with combat damage triggers. If your creature that you equip or any sword of blank and blank or even maybe Umezawa's Jite, like that kind of stuff, you get 2 of the combat triggers.
I will take all of these swords in this deck, actually. I'm not a big fan of...
Maybe not Body and Mind still.
Yeah, because you actively don't want to give them 20 cards in their graveyard. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so we'll take all the swords except Body and Mind because that one stinks.
Yeah, most of the swords.
Yeah, we'll take most of the swords in this deck because this card's cool. I mean, the double strike is really relevant. It comes out early, and it's just... You're going to be getting in big attacks early. The problem is it suffers because aggro suffers.
Yeah, I think what I want to do with this is play all of the equipment that doesn't do much and just equips for like 0 or 1, like the bone saws, because maybe you just get creatures with awesome combat damage triggers and you just hit twice and you say like, I don't care about the equipment, who cares?
Bone saw, bone saw, bone saw.
He's pretty fun to play. The art's great. The art on almost all of these is great, so we're gonna be saying that a million times this episode.
Yeah, art is good on most of these characters. His story is boring. He did a cool little publicity stunt. Read that little story. That's all he's got.
Yeah, he knew nobody could replicate his design, so he made like an open challenge.
He released the blueprint to say, hey, look at this. Look how cool it is. Everyone tried to make it. They couldn't. And then
he got a bunch of money.
He got a bunch of
orders.
Then
he retired. He's just a smart guy who is now retired. That's like my dream job. Yeah. Felice, Reverent Medium. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. Felice, Long Island Medium between Gerard and Aurelia. I just noticed that's 2 RTR commanders. At 536. 3 white, black for a 3/4. At the beginning of each end step, you make X 1/1 spirits with flying, where X is the number of tokens you've created this turn. Just any token.
Yeah, so this card is actually pretty good, but it is 5 mana, and if it dies once, it's 7 mana. This is where the trouble with this card comes in, because even though it's a powerful effect that you can really take advantage of easily, she costs so much mana. And then after you play her for 5, you probably have to untap with her to really get a lot of tokens going. It's a tough little game that she's got going here, but she is good. Getting a ton of 1/1 spirits when you make useless tokens is great.
I think she's the last thing you play. You set up your little sack outlet board wipe or your board state, and then you play her, and then the goal is produce extra tokens on everyone's turn, then get to you and anthem them and kill somebody. So you build up your board and then you play her. So I don't think the mana cost is that big of an issue.
Okay.
Although it's just you're not getting a ton.
You also need combat damage in like taking advantage of these. There is ways. But it's gonna then this is where the fun gets a little lower. It's gonna get boring because then it's gonna turn into an aristocrat deck.
Oh man, aristocrat decks. There's so many of them. And I know what they do. So whenever I'm building a deck, I just try to go the opposite way.
Well,
I don't need
the reason aristocrats. Okay, why aristocrats are so good and played so often. They evenly attack each. You don't have to target anybody.
Right.
They evenly attack each opponent, making it a lot easier to beat everybody. That's why
infinite combo payoff.
Yep.
And I think sometimes the games can get a little samey.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think aristocrats you should never play it. I just think that there's so many aristocrat commanders. There's not enough building. When you say I'm going aristocrats, you get thrown into this like thin, narrow little spot and with so little wiggle room for anything cool.
We're not even saying we downgrade all fun of all aristocrats. That was just kind of like a tangent.
Yeah, that was kind of a tangent. Yeah. What's next? What's after the Long Island Medium? Responding to myself, why, it's Kangi, Sky Warden, right above Heartless Hitotsugu and below Patron of the Nezumi. 5/18. 3 white blue for a 3/3 flyer. When he attacks, flying creatures you control get +2/+0. When he blocks, flying creatures you control get +0/+2. This is a big buff in the air. I mean, it really is. If you're making a ton of spirits and then you attack, this is like, if you're going to be making 1/1s, it's tripling their power. It's very strong.
I think this is a little bit below Iniaz the Gale Force, where that you can just keep paying mana and pumping your attacking flyers. I don't know how good the blocking thing is. I don't want to really risk Kangi with a block too much. So it's mostly the offense. It has vigilance. Again, though, I'm never blocking with it. Why does it matter that it has vigilance?
Yeah. Okay. This card is. But again, The weakness of it is it's relying on attacks to do its thing. When you really, and it's not like an attack trigger to like get a huge advantage. It's an attack trigger to deal damage. We talk about it. Relying on attacks in EDH is just not reliable.
That's why, I don't know why I keep bringing up Inez, but literally Inez is like, oh, attacks. But wait, you get this huge, crazy advantage when you do it, so it doesn't matter if you connect or not.
Exactly. Art's great, and there's not much to talk about. Kingy's not more.
Yeah, he's just a bird lieutenant guy. Jury, Master of the Review, 5/13 between Tomorrow and Gahiji. Black-red for a 1/1. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Jury. When he dies, he deals damage equal to his power to any target.
The only power here is really that he turns into a fireball.
He can get big. When you fling him, you only have to get him up to 20 and to 40 somebody. You fling him for 20, and then he does the other 20.
Yeah, he's fine. He's totally reasonable. Nothing crazy. Just
good with fetch lands.
Just what?
Good with fetch lands.
Yeah,
you can get some like extra bonus triggers of him, but he just doesn't give you much to do. It's hard to sacrifice 20 permanents, and then you only kill one person.
And he's fragile. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you go in and they have one, and they get rid of your sack outlet. All of a sudden, this card just sits here. If you don't have a sack outlet, this card is really bad. And I know your deck obviously built to have sack outlets, but sometimes that's going to happen. Sometimes you just won't have a sack outlet on the field.
Yeah, or there's just a weird spot where there's not many creatures in play, and he's only like a 6/6, and you can he's about to get wiped or bounced. You're like, all right, hit you for 6. The one thing he does have is I think it's the way his mana cost is, it's not that bad. 2 is like nothing. Play that super early. 4 doesn't feel that bad, and then when you're at 6, you already have a board built up, then you can sacrifice 4 or 5 things right away.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Art's insanely good. I
love it.
He has a flame whip.
And a crown of blades.
The only thing I liked in his lore was that, so he runs like a show where they always kill an audience member, which I thought was funny. And Rakdos often attends his shows. Yeah. But Rakdos hates being upstage, so they say that he'll probably be killed by Rakdos eventually because he's always trying to upstage everyone.
Yeah, it's like, all right.
It's kind of funny. Next we have Gen. Arcadium Weaver at 472. Below Spoiler, above Joriel, Empress of Beast. Mardu for a 2/3. You pay Mardu, you tap him, sacrifice an enchantment, return an enchantment from your graveyard to the battlefield.
All right, this is Enchantress deck. I think this deck ends up super cool, just not crazy strong. That's kind of a hefty price to pay. It's somewhat difficult to get enchantments in the graveyard, I would say, especially since there's a bunch of self-mill and discard, but then your deck is full of self-mill and discard cards that are not enchantments, so it can get a little tough to actually hit the critical mass of enchantments while also being able to discard them or mill them. And then you have to get one in play that doesn't really do anything or doesn't enter the battlefield thing and then sticks around. Then you sacrifice that one. Then you have to have that one in the graveyard and then it comes out.
This deck seems nearly impossible to balance, I would say. I do think that he's super fun. Again, doing all this artifact shenanigans.
It's super cool. You can throw curses on people.
Or, enchantments shenanigans. I'm sure there's ways to make this work. I'm sure there's lots of cool things to do with them. It's just going to be tough to make powerful.
Yeah, it's super fun. His fun's pretty high.
Yeah, and he's really unique. This effect isn't that unique, which is like trash and then getting something back. Usually it's an artifact type thing.
But on enchantments, it's like unheard of.
Exactly. You don't see it on enchantments. Let's just go on to the next one.
Nimris, Una's Trickster, 3 blue, black for a 1/6 flyer. This thing's the size of a peanut, but it's got 6 toughness. Okay. Whenever you cast your first spell on each opponent's turn, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one in your hand, the other one into the graveyard. This card is super good.
Yeah, this card's really good. I mean, the simple fact of the matter is, it has flash. You're always going to get onto the battlefield, and you're almost always going to tap with it. And as soon as you untap with it, you pass because you're going to be playing all instants in your deck and just countering spells, being super annoying. I think that's where this card loses all its fun because, it only loses 2 points of fun. It is super fun for you.
This is why.
But your opponent, you're going to be countering too many spells. You're going to be being super annoying. You're going to be interacting on other players' turns because that's what the deck wants.
You don't run out of resources. You don't run out of resources with this. I think the one thing it loses to be one of the higher commanders of the set is it's too simple. Like, it's not unique, so it loses some uniqueness points. And this card has no lore at all other than being Una's something.
It's annoying. It not annoying as in like...
That's its thing.
Yeah, it goes... He... I think it's a he.
I think it's they.
No, it's a he. I remember because I thought it was super weird when you read it.
Well, he has a click.
Yeah, he has a click. He is super annoying. He goes around being an annoying jerk and annoying people as much as he can. Oh, I fell asleep because it was so boring.
Oh, now we're going to harvest your dreams.
Oh, look out. Next, Coffiner, the last you.
Whoa. Coffiner, the last you.
Right above Reki, the history of Kamigawa, and right below Yeva, Nature's Herald. 422.
3 in an Abzan for a 3/7 Vigilance Reach. Whenever a creature you control dies, including him, you can return a creature with lesser toughness from your graveyard to your hand. I believe this was the Command Zone spoiler, and they mentioned the little wombo combo of 2 Anthems, 2 0-drops, and you can just infinitely recur them and play them. That's something you could do. Maybe you could do a toughness deck, or really any Anthems work for you, which is kind of bizarre. So maybe you could do the toughness Anthems, buff their toughness, have your creatures die, and then they can get back any other creature.
Yeah, this seems fine. I mean, there's something. I think this card is good and has some applications, but you can just get this graveyard type of thing elsewhere.
It's expensive. There's 6 mana.
Exactly. There's so many ways to get it. So many, like, probably more effective, better, stronger ways to do it. Not that he's bad, and I would never fault anyone for making a Coffiner deck because he's really pretty cool. I mean, he planted a seed of himself to give all his knowledge to the sapling of Coffiner.
Yes, that's what that is, and that thing helped aid the crew to stop Una.
And the art is amazing. He's just an old. He does look like Treebeard from Lord of the Rings.
Cannot confirm.
BZ doesn't. BZ has to mention. He's got to mention if Lord of the Rings comes up. He has to mention he hasn't watched it.
Hey, you looked at me and I had to say like, right? I don't know.
Am I right, BZ? How about Coffiner, the last Treebeard? Right?
No, I can't say that I don't know, and I can't say that I do know.
Yep, I called you. I put
That's
you.
a hard lock.
Oh, I got it. He's locked out of the game. Best nitpicking their Joe Cherries forever.
Darn it. Abomination of Llanowar, 419 between Gisa, Geralf, and Massacre Girl.
He's in between 3 things.
Yeah, I wanted to say it like that. 1 green-black for a Vigilant Menache Star. This thing's power and toughness are equal to the number of elves in play for you, plus the number of elves in your graveyard. And I like the idea of, because this thing is a writhing mass of like gross zombies. This is the first creature you play. It's just some dude.
Yeah.
Because that's a flavor-wise, it's a clump of people, but it's just one guy. It's one elf if you just have it.
Yeah, this thing is kind of bad. I mean, it's only power toughness, and when you get to only power toughness, that's not good. Yeah, sure, it gets big, fast, and like, again, we'll mention it again because there's a lot of them in this set. Attacking commanders tend to be much worse than things that are just going to do stuff statically or maybe give you a huge... Like, they can be attacking commanders, but if it's only power toughness, then... Oh, it's rough.
Sometimes they help you attack. Like I'm not going to go into examples. There's plenty of those. The power is low, but I think this deck's really cool. I think this is one of the only green-black elf payoffs that says, hey, put a bunch of elves in your deck and you're going to have a good time. I like the idea of just dumping as much of your deck in as possible and then like fleeing this at people. Or if there's those cards like each opponent loses life equal to the greatest power. Or you can do stuff with like Rishkar's expertise. Get this really going.
There's a lot of cool things to do with it. Art is really good. Oh my goodness,
it's fantastic. This card is creepy. That's how it got so high, is because there's a scout troop on Llanowar, and they fell into this, or they went into this cave, and one of the elves touched like this black hole of like magic, and it sucked all of them in and made them this writhing, gross mass of elves.
There was already a bunch of dead stuff there. Like, there was dead and magic in this area. And like they sent and like people were like knew it was weird, so they sent a scout. The scout went in and he touched it, and the thing came to life, and then quickly ate him basically. Absorbed him.
It absorbed him and his whole party, and then they sent another scouting party to find the first one.
I don't think it was a party. I think it was just a scout.
It was a party.
Oh, fine.
That's why there's so many of them.
It's fine. I mean,
because the flavor text says. Run, the living mouths scream. That's the most recent scouting party. And the dead scout party, because they're older, was like, no, come on. It's great.
The dead ones are actively trying to make it bigger. And this is a campfire story, which I thought was funny.
Yes, that's really... Abomination of Llanowar gets awesome flavor and mediocre power. Next is Amarath, the Lustrous, above Odric, Lunarch Marshal, and below Pia and Kieran Nolar at 389. She is 3 in a Bant for a 6/6 flyer. Whenever a permanent enters the battlefield under your control, you can look at the top card of your library. If it shares the type with the permanent you made, you reveal it and put it in your hand. So I think how you're doing this deck is you either pick creatures or artifacts and then make a bunch of tokens, which will still trigger it, or you pick any type and just build all of that type.
Yeah, I think this it's not very powerful because, again, 6 mana for a maybe draw. It's like, I don't know, a 6 mana whenever I played a permanent draw card, that would be really good. But how about if it was pseudo draw and you only probably hit half the time?
It's probably 50% at most is what you're getting. And I don't like them going back to this well of 3 and a shard for a 6/6 flyer. I feel like that's kind of reserved for the other janky dragons, and I think it's hard without any like ETB stuff. That once you're at 6, this isn't really what I want to do.
Yeah, it's exactly. It seems fun though. You're gonna manipulate the top of your library with like Skull Rack, top. You're also an advantage of this is you play a land, it triggers. You see what's on top. If it's a land, you do it, and if it's not a land, then you can control what you play next.
Yeah, the one thing this does let you do is play a bunch of magic. If it's out, you're gonna just be doing all the finger movements and going crazy.
One of the problems is with this deck is you have to play too many permanents, and like that's a problem with like Nikki of the old way, where it's just like you have to play such a permanent-based deck, and like that's not inherently a problem, but you lose out on so much power when you take away instant sorcery, some of the best types of Magic.
Yeah, you just don't want those. In terms of lore, she's an old dragon on this whatever plane she's on. It's unknown. This dragon scales hardened, so she gets all super shiny, and she likes to collect stuff that looks like her, that is shiny like her. And if you stumble into her lair and you don't try to take anything, she'll give you a tour that's a couple hours long and talk your ear off.
Yeah, she will talk. Yeah, she'll talk to you for hours about her collection.
That's adorable.
Well, it is adorable, but it's still. But that was it. Like that.
Yeah, that's not much.
Yeah. The uniqueness. It's kind of unique. Next, Zaara Larson, Renegade Recruiter, right above Tengrath, First Mate, and below Rayhan, Last of the Abzan. 3 blue-red for a 4/3 flyer. One of the attacks, look at defending player's hand. You may put a creature from among them onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking that player. At the beginning of the next end step, return it to that player's hand. It's never getting back to their hand.
Spoiler alert, not happening.
This card is a cool like Thoughtseize type effect. Again, it's a little expensive, but if you have Sack Outlatch, it's going to be card advantage, which is great. Plus, you get to smack them with their biggest creature.
Yeah, hit your Vorinclex, second main, play some big dumb spell, and high market, it's gone.
You want to talk about the best? This is the best Blightsteel Colossus killer. Oh, he has Blightsteel Colossus. I'll kill him with it.
Now he doesn't. Don't worry, guys.
I didn't even have to sacrifice it.
I got you on this one.
He just died.
Stupid Blightsteel, yeah. I think this is the highest power we mentioned so far. Nope, Nimrus was higher. But this has, first of all, terrible story. She talks good. That's her story. But I love the art, and this lets you do a lot of weird stuff. It actively is removal plus a big advantage for you. It's so worth it to do this.
Yeah, this card is really cool. I think and it's unique. There is nothing that lets you go into their hand and get a card and make it attack them. That is so weird.
It's crazy. Huge mana advantage.
Yeah, she's able, but that's the flavor of it. She talks the creature in the hand. No matter what it is, Ulamog, come on. Come help us, Ulamog.
Come and join the rebellion against the consulate. Ulamog's like, all right.
I don't know what any of that is. I've been in Zendikar for literally a millennia.
I don't speak English.
All right.
Wylith, Soul of Steel. 349, above Azami, below Ephara, God of the Police. 1 red, white for a 2/2 with trample. Thank you for giving it trample, wizards. Whenever he attacks, you draw a card for each aura and equipment that's on him. Okay, here's another one where I'm just like, all right, all of the stupid 0 equips, let's go. Let's replace itself. Let's draw 4 cards when it attacks. Let's make it unkillable. Let's protect it with stuff. I'm in.
This is finally a good attacks one. It's giving you the cards back immediately. It makes you feel so much better about playing auras in a deck like this, where it's actually you could actively protect your creature with these auras.
And he has evasion.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's so strong. He's so big. He gets so big so fast. You're just going to throw everything on him.
Yep.
And then you're just going to attack, draw 5 cards. Oh, wow. All those stupid janky equipments I just threw on the battlefield suddenly replace themselves.
Yeah, you can do stuff with Arden, the archaeologist, and equip them all for free at high speeds and then just crush somebody.
At high speed.
High speed.
Whoa, look out. Here comes a sword.
Faster than the eye could detect. His art is blue and like misty.
Yeah.
Not great.
It's fine. It's nothing wrong with it.
The worst we're going to get for new Magic cards is about 5, apparently.
Yeah, sometimes they're really bad, but it's rare. It is rare that a new Magic card is very bad.
Yeah, this is kind of unique. It's like the Boros equipment thing, but it adds auras, and it gives trample, and it says draw cards. I'm in. Can't be too mad at that.
Yeah, it's a strong card, especially for Boros.
Next is Hamza, Guardian of Arishin, at 343, between Sai Master Thopterist and Neheb, Dreadhorde Champion, the Neheb nobody cares about. He is 4 green-white for a 5/5, but him and creatures you cast once he's out cost 1 less to cast for each creature with a counter on it that you control.
I had to talk BZ down a little bit.
Yeah, you did.
My thing about the problem with this power is that first you either have to set up your board completely, and use your resources, and then play him. And now it's like, well, you don't have that many resources to take advantage of it. Or you can try going the opposite, and he's super expensive, and now you're getting discount. It's a rough setup, but he is pretty good.
Once it's the problem of, all right, now that once he's out and creatures you control cost 5 less, shouldn't you just be winning?
Yeah, it's tough. It's a really tough position. It's like if creatures cost 5 less, I mean, you have 5 creatures with +1/+1 counters on it. You're probably able to put counters on your creatures. It's not. There's nothing wrong with him. He is good.
He's good.
He is strong. But it's just like there's so much like. It seems like he's going to make for weird. It's weird where you will take advantage of him. You're going to want to be casting Big Eldrazi, but if you have Big Eldrazi, then you're not playing small creatures that have counters.
And it's hard to play so many small creatures that are both useful and have counters on them.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Like there's not a ton of those. You can play you can go hard on the like Hangerback Walkers. Well, Hangerback and Ballista are great in this deck anyway. Mm-hmm. But you can go hard on the like 1/1s for 1 that enter with a counter. They're so bad in the late game, and they don't replace themselves. So you're like wasting cards on ritual effects.
I want you to bring up he looks really cool. He's a big badass Luxodon. What's your question that comes up here?
Yeah. So my pet peeve / what is going on? He's from the plane of Tarkir, and if you recall, Tarkir is a home of the Abzan, which have giant elephants that pull their fortresses. They're moving fortresses. Giant elephants. This guy's a giant elephant who speaks English and is humanoid. They have domesticated non-humanoid elephants and humanoid elephants. How does he feel about that? The subjugation of elephants.
Imagine there were just like dumb humans, really dumb humans,
domesticated humans.
Yeah,
who had no will of their own.
We'll say that for the sake of this, they're really dumb. Because like an elephant compared to like a Loxodon in like how they can think is a lot different. But it's like imagine every time there's a really dumb human, we just made him a slave. I'm not okay with that. I don't think Hamza is either.
Yeah. What are you supporting the Abzan / Dramoka for? Like, you should be against this whole process.
Yeah, I don't want a giant elephant being forced to be basically a slave.
No. Loxodon and wild elephants. Also, what is the evolutionary path that produces like both of those so quickly?
That is a great question, actually. All right, we're definitely rambling. Moving on.
That's why we had to go through the first one so fast to get through all these tangents.
Yeah. Next is Devon Brawl, Tyrant of Urborg, above Sun Triplets, below Ghost of Ramirez, DiPietro, and at 320.
It's 3 and an Esper for a 3/6 zombie wizard. He has hexproof from artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. When he enters the battlefield, you make a 2/2 tap zombie for each creature that died this turn. And when he dies, you can pay 1. If you do, you disc. You blow up all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments.
This card's strong. I really like the play patterns that come along with this. You always want to leave up 1 mana, so you play him like when you have 7 mana. Leave up that 1 mana. Somebody wants to destroy him. Okay, well, they're destroying the whole board. Maybe they want that. That's fine. But if it comes back to you, use a sack outlet to sack him, play him for the extra mana, get all the zombies, and now all of a sudden your board is insane. And now we go back to the same play pattern. They have to answer him again.
Well, there's a bunch of stuff you can do that doesn't require recasting him. There's enchantments, instants, combat tricks, and you can give him Undying so that when he dies, he just comes back.
Oh, he's good.
You get the tokens, and then you can sacrifice him again.
Yeah, he's pretty fun. He's the 3 points lost here for fun are absolutely on your opponent's side where they're not going to enjoy this. They're
constant board wipes.
Who wants to deal with a board wipe in the command zone?
That is easily repeatable.
Once there's in sack outlet, it's whenever you want. So it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, if they have loops to keep him out, this could be tough. They have blue, so they can protect him with counter magic. One weird thing about deck building, which I think is cool, it's a plus and goes to his uniqueness, is you can't play mana rocks or anything that you want are okay with getting destroyed. You gotta just like play the Wayfarer's Baubles and all the white ramp that puts lands into play.
It is weird that he actively does like Darksteel Ignite, which is actually probably fine in this deck.
Oh, no.
We found a deck it's actually decent in.
Nope. Cut it for Skyclave Relic. That's better. The strictly better.
Oh, is that indestructible?
Yeah.
Oh,
and it
then
makes
yeah.
it 2 copies of itself.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Skyclave like actively good in the deck.
We almost had to play Darksteel Ignite. That was close.
Yeah, and he's very unique. He's a board wipe in the command zone. The only other one even close to this is Child of Valara.
That rewards you from getting a huge board wipe bonus.
Yeah, exactly. Bonus creatures.
Ooh, this next card gives you bonus lands. Icy, Tyrant of Gyre Strait.
Icy?
I say icy.
Okay.
Are you trying to tell me how to say it? Are you some kind of icy manipulator?
I thought it was AC.
Kolos, Tireless Pilgrim is below him, and Krav is above him. He's at 317. 4 blue-green for a 5/5. You can play an extra land, and whenever you play a land, you may draw a card. I don't like that they went so close to Tatiova. If you look at Tatiova, this shares a lot of numbers with her.
It's pretty much Tatiova. They play so similar. Like we were talking about, BC's like, I do think Tatiova's better. It's like, well, it doesn't matter because they're so close. You could never, even if let's say Tatiova's the better card, it's by about a half an inch.
It's such half an inch. She's this much better. Do with that what you will. Internet, now you know who's actually better. This card's great. I think this deck is boring. I've tried to play it and I had no fun with it. But I think in terms of magic it lets you play, almost infinite. Art, amazing. It's like shrouded behind this blue mist in a way that Wylith wasn't. And the one thing it loses is this is Tatiova. It's just blue-green lands. And it's a grumpy old serpent that moves around and eats people.
He's a jerk. And he's not that unique. All right, moving on. We have Emodi, Celebrant of Bounty, above Zerda, below Shirei, Cizo's Caretaker. 3 blue-green for a 3/1 with Cascade. Spells you cast will convert a mana cost 6 or greater, have Cascade. This card's strong. I mean, it automatically gets you another spell, so it's like even though you're getting a poopy body, and then after that, you're just going to cast big 6 drops, get a 5 drop, and just keep doing that and over again.
So many spells that cost 6, but don't really cost 6. I would hesitate from putting X spells in. You can get I have an X spell, so I trigger the 6 CMC thing, but you don't want to cascade into X spells, so don't fill your deck with X spells.
Yeah, exactly. This seems really, really fun. Okay, question for the comments. What is, if you fill your deck with only 4 and less CMC, so your deck's going to be bad, but as soon as you cast your commander, what is the best thing you can hit?
If every card in your deck is 5 or more, except for 1, Emodi always cascades into what? What is the one best thing? I think
the best thing I could think of is maybe Hypergenesis, but you're letting every other player do that. But I guess if your deck is super stupidly built for it,
it's all 10 drops.
It's just all. I mean, the deck's already bad. You don't play anything until turn 5.
Yeah, that deck is terrible.
It's real bad. I'm not denying that this deck is bad. Don't worry.
We're just wondering because we had this debate. So the fun, it's about as high as it could possibly be. Cascade's great, and this actually, unlike Averna, has Cascade and then grants Cascade, making up for the fact that there's no Cascade cards.
Yeah, it's some like weird Naga. I think it's from.
And we don't know where it's from.
I was thinking it was. Oh yeah, that's right. It didn't have a plane.
We were like, it's from Tarkir. No, it's an unknown plane, blessed by some nature goddess that we don't know about.
Yeah, I thought the plane that I thought in my head that it would be from was
Theros.
No, Amonkhet. That's what I know. There's a lot of Naga there.
Oh yeah, but I don't think they call goddesses there. I think they just use the word god. We can move on to Jared, Carthalion, True Heir. Above Malfagor, below Teysa at 269. Naya for a 3/3. When he enters the battlefield, someone else becomes a monarch, and you can't get it this turn. But if you are the monarch and damage is dealt to him, prevent it and put that many counters on him instead. We're going to mention this because we forgot for some other ones, but go check the art for this set and tell me how many times wispy fog of the exact colors this card is in shows up for no reason.
Yeah, it's an overused trope in Magic cards that they definitely went to the well on a lot in this set.
It might just be an artist thing where they don't specifically say we want Naya wispy colors, but the artist is like, this is a Naya card, and then like makes them.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of it either way.
I don't know either way. His story is cool. What's his story?
He learned to planeswalk, and he literally had to fight back for his rightful place on the throne. The card is poop. Yeah. It's not very good.
It's fun because you can cast a Star of Extinction.
That's your goal.
Give him 20 counters once you're the monarch and beat somebody to death.
It really does put you on a quest to win the game. So that's fine. I like the idea that once he's the king, a meteor, an extinction event meteor hits the planet, and he's like, I'm fine.
Yeah, he's fine, and he's stronger for it.
Huge.
He's so strong after that. 10 for art. He looks perfect. Really good, though. Even not perfect because of the wisp.
What's the perfect fantasy... straight out of the era he's from, that's the art.
I think one of my favorite descriptions of him was he's hunky Fabio.
Oh yeah.
How can you hunky Fabio? Fabio's already the hunkiest guy.
He's so hunky.
And now he's hunky Fabio? Dang.
Fabio is literally too hunky for his own good.
I know.
All right, next is Belbay, Corrupted Observer, coming in at 247, above Judith the Scourge Diva, and below Hannah, Ship's Navigator. Green, black, 2/2, elf, zombie. At the beginning of each player's post-combat main phase, that player adds Wingding for each opponent who lost life this turn. This lets you do a bunch of different stuff. Most of it is play an 8-drop on turn 2 or 3.
I mean, all it takes is ping all your opponents for 1, make 6 mana. I mean, it's not that hard to do, especially with things like Solar Cutthroat, Sack Outlets. I mean,
Vicious Rumors makes them all discard a card.
Oh my!
And adds functionally, it produces 5 extra mana.
That's card advantage. That actually would work really well in this deck.
If it plays Ugin the Spirit Dragon, yeah, that's stupid. There's a Leech-Ridden Swamp is a swamp that enters tapped, but if you have 2 black permanents, you can tap it and pay a black. Each opponent loses 1 life.
Oh my!
Fetchable Source of Belbay.
Piranha
Marsh. Oh baby, this you want to make sure
that probably targets. I actually don't know.
It does. You want to make sure you're going to destroy them because they can do this too.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be really careful because your opponents obviously can't take advantage of it as much as you can because your deck is built to do this, but it is still symmetrical, and that is its weakness.
Also, if they want to get 6 mana, they have to not damage. Damaging you doesn't matter, and they have to take damage themselves.
Oh, is that how it's worded?
It's like Ludovic. It's your opponents. Each of your opponents has to take damage for them to get 6.
Okay, weird, interesting, but weird.
That's really it. She chose.
Okay.
She's a zombie elf of Eldamri, and she chose the Evan Sar, and then Eldamri spite killed her with some poison that killed her instantly. Belbay, she was in love with Urtai, kind of a sad princess cyborg character. Next,
Yorlock of Scorch Thrash above Miri, below Slimefoot at 2/14. One in the Jund for a 4/4. Pay 1, tap them, add Jund to everybody's mana pool. Players get mana burn now. So that means if when mana empties from your mana pool, you also get burned for that much damage.
Yeah, really, really unique. First of all, unique card. Great artwork, and this is fun.
This is super fun. He's super good. It makes your opponents want to like come up with ways to spend mana when you make it. It's weird.
Your arch enemy is Sensei's Dividing Top.
Our friend built a version of this deck that like basically makes you make more mana than you want to. But I want to try and build him as a Jund him out commander finally.
Where you basically don't care about that and you just use him as a mana production for yourself plus damage.
Yeah, he has Vigilance. He gets to attack for 4 and then tap to make 2 extra mana for you. That's colored, so it turns colorless into colored for you. I think he's really good. And it deals 9 damage if they can't use it.
Yes. I just keep laughing at Sensei's Dividing Top. It's like, I don't care how much extra mana you give me, I'm just going to spin it forever.
You can't make me
take damage.
I have a top.
Next, Blim, Comedic Genius. Above Shabraz, the Sky Shark. Below Uro, Titan of Bannet in Modern. 155 for Blim. He's 4 mana for a 4/3 flyer. When he hits, you donate a permanent you control to them, and then each opponent loses life and discard cards equal to the number of permanents they own and don't control.
Not good.
No, Blim, not very funny. But Blim's lore and art and everything else is great.
He's also super fun. Giving away permanents, we know this is a fun way to go, but it's tough to do. You got to make some worthless tokens to give away. Art looks really good. He's like an imp. Comedic Genius is hilarious. It's like
give him the lore.
He's not that funny. He's not that funny. He claims to have put on a show so funny, everyone in the audience died.
But you had to be there.
But he says you had to be there. But if you were there, you'd be dead. So you just got to take his word for it.
Yeah. But in reality, he's like not funny. He's a hack.
Yeah. I love the description that he's a hack.
That's the perfect description of it. If you throw tomatoes at him, he'll throw a knife or something at you.
Oh, but he's fun to go and heckle. But be careful. Because if you don't throw tomatoes, because he's known to throw sharper objects back.
Really, the interesting thing to take away from this is that Ravnica has tomatoes. What? Maybe it's like a totally different fruit that they just gave the name tomatoes.
Ravnica has tomatoes. It's official. So
hold on. It's actually Ravnica not only has tomatoes, but has the trope of throwing tomatoes at a bad comedian.
What is real question?
What are the odds?
What plane has a pumpkin? Incremental Growth has pumpkins on it. So that plane has pumpkins.
I think that's Dominaria.
Dominaria has pumpkins. It's official.
And Tarkir has bananas.
Yep, Tarkir.
Amonkhet also has bananas. Well, maybe, there's like the Dragon. There's like the Banana. Brings bananas into all planes.
There's a banana
so that Mark Rosewater doesn't have to think of anything new.
The Banana. I love that. Is an uncard. If I've ever heard of an uncard, the Banana It's amazing.
Bananas you cast cost 1 less.
It's like 3. It costs the same as the Ur Dragon, but it's just for bananas.
Food you cast. It costs 1 less to sacrifice.
The Ur Banana. I love that.
Oh, God, that took forever. Lisa, an actual magic card. Shroud of Dusk between Azuri and Scorpion God at 147. Getting to the better ones now. She is 2 white, black for a 5/5 flyer with lifelink. Whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 2 life, and she doesn't have commander attacks. She makes you pay 2 life instead of 2 mana, which I will take all day.
It's amazing. It's so good. You put this. I'm building this as a life gain commander because she already is a way to use that extra life. She's draining everybody. She's draining you included, but you're going to be gaining so much life, and she gains 5 life from a swing. You can answer this, but I can just get her for 5 mana every time.
I like the idea that this is a relevant body with evasion, and I like the idea that you can play opponent can't gain life effects to where you just say, all right, you're capping it for you. This is the highest you're ever going to get. Now you're just going to lose life.
Yeah,
the game's going to end.
Yeah, that's why I put Airbolts in the deck because it's
Airbolts is so good.
My opponents can't get any more life now. So like if let's say they're at 30, they can cast 15 more spells before they are dead.
It's cool to put them on literally like there's like a counter above their head. It's like you're going to die if this gets to 0.
Yeah, exactly. And they can answer it, but again, it comes back for 5 every time. That's what's so awesome. Avoiding that commander tax and just paying life when you're in a life gain deck where gaining life is going to happen.
Yeah, Lisa is the 4th angel sister to Bruna, Sigarda, and Gisela, which they pre-exist Avacyn, which I didn't. Obviously, that makes sense because she's a creation of Sword, but I didn't think about that. She made a pact with a demon. She normally consorted with demons, and they're like, all right, fine. But she made a pact with one, and they're like, okay, you're dead to us. And Avacyn's like, you're literally dead to everyone, and killed her.
Yes, she was like the redheaded stepchild of the group, and they were like, everyone's like, blah, blah, blah. You do your weird stuff. You can be weird. But then she's like, I'm going to be with a demon lord. And all of them condemned that. They're all like, all right, wrong. And Avacyn's like, dead.
Dead. Oh, you and your flight, dead.
Yeah, she killed the whole flight.
I just don't know why she made a pact. I wish I knew.
Yeah, there's more lore. That sounds like a cool story to be told in a future.
That was what I was looking forward to, and I was a little bummed out.
Yeah.
Hans Eriksson is not bumming anybody out. All right, he's at 109. Between Gavi and Gyruda. 2 red-white for a 1/4. When he attacks, you can flip top card of your library. If it's a creature, it just goes into play and fights him.
Yeah, and if it's not a creature, it goes in your hand.
Yeah, so you do draw a card in a red-green deck, which is kind of weird. We're going to skip power and uniqueness, both not very good. And we're just going to talk about the art, the fun, and the lore.
It's super fun. You get to flip cards at the top of your library, potentially hitting super big things. You're going to manipulate the top of your library to hit those big things, which will kill Hans. But that's okay because we're going to get an Ulamog, and I'm fine with Hans dying if I get an Ulamog.
I love the fact that perfect flavor, he runs and attacks, and then it chases him.
Oh my God.
From the top of your library. It's so great.
There's a attempt for art. It's just really good art. Safi's in the background fighting the Lurgoyf.
She's like, there it is.
Yeah, and he's sniffing a flower saying, nothing could ruin this beautiful day.
It's the cutest, like, huskiest little teddy bear guy I've ever seen.
I mean, it's too hard. It's hard not to be a 10. Hans Eriksson is a character known. He literally, Akhan's Run is Lurgoyf is one of the most well-known flavor text throughout Magic's history.
Easily.
It has its own uncard because of it.
Yep.
And Safi literally became a card because of that. And now Hans is the next iteration of that, which is super cool.
Right. So it all started with Lurgoyf then.
Yeah, the Lurgoyf is the originator. It's just Lurgoyf said Akhan's Run is the Lurgoyf.
Then I think Akhan's Run.
Well, yeah, but
then Safi.
But it said it was by Safi Eric's daughter.
No, I'm saying, but then they printed Akhan's Run the card. Then they printed Safi and Time Spiral, and then they printed Hans. So the story is now complete. We can move on.
Yeah, but also super cool. Safi can sacrifice herself to save Hans.
So much flavor.
So much flavor, and it's so good. I love it. Next, Arcalos, Lagoon Mystic. Above the Locust God, below Nekuzar the Mind Razor. 1 in the Soul Tie for a 2/4. If he's untapped, permanents enter the battlefield untapped. If he's tapped, all permanents enter the battlefield tapped. This is all about taking the advantage of him being untapped on your turn and doing the opposite for other players' turn. So you want ways to tap him. Put him in a vehicle. This turtle, he loves getting in dragsters.
He loves driving.
He's a huge fan of driving. He's pretty good. I mean, if you're constantly keeping him tapped and you're constantly having him untapped in your turn, he's going to do a lot in that case. He's fun, but he's going to be unfun because your opponent's going to be really annoyed when their fetch lands into the battlefield tapped.
Yeah, Blind Obedience expanded to all permanents for them, and just for them, that's super annoying. It's very little effort, and it's kind of a decent reward. So this might be annoying to play against.
Yeah, I agree. His art looks good, but they go to the tourist in the hair. Okay. my favorite part of this. We already know that the guy runs circles around him, and that if you go to talk to him, time like literally slows down, and you'll ask him a yes or no question, and in an hour will have passed without you even noticing because he's like
he didn't even answer.
Yeah, and he hasn't even answered. Yeah, exactly. So but even funnier. So the hair annoys the crap out of him.
Yeah.
Like whatever the rabbit's name is, I can't remember. Quinn annoys the crap out of him, and he hates him. But he takes solace in the fact that he knows that he was born centuries before he was born, and he will exist centuries after he dies.
After Quain dies, he'll live for centuries more. Also, Arcalos doesn't know his own age. He forgot. He's too old.
Oh, yeah, I love that. He just, how old? I don't know.
Does it even matter?
He forgot his age hundreds of years ago, which is great.
I like that he can pinpoint when he forgot.
I forgot around then.
So he knows at least like 200. Next is Nobeka, Brute Chronologist. 53. It's top 100 stuff with Arcalos and Nobeka. Above Kenrith, below Erebos, God of the Dead. We just talked about him. 1 and a Grixis for a 3/4. Tap the player whose turn it is, may end the turn.
Okay, this isn't powerful. It doesn't really do much in the power department whatsoever. There are some cool things you could do with it, though, and that's what makes it super fun. I mean, keeping those until end of turn tokens, those keeping your, even like funny, this is just funny more than good. Ball lightning. I'm not going to sacrifice it because it's my turn.
I feel like Ball Lightning is like a Meeseeks where he's like, I wasn't supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to survive.
Oh my god.
Existence is pain for a Ball Lightning.
Art is really cool. Okay. Lore, absolutely 10 out of 10. Hilarious.
9 out
funny,
of 10.
9 out of 10. Sorry. Why don't you give us the lore?
Oh man. Nobeka is the Chuck Norris of Magic because she will punch the baby teeth back into your face. She will slap you so hard your mom literally feels it 20 years ago.
She'll punch you into next week. Literally.
Yeah, because she's basically so mad and grumpy that time just bends around her.
She basically, what I assume here is she's a very powerful mage, but she's just a grumpy fighter. Yeah. And instead of harnessing the powers as a mage, like she could be a great powerful time mage.
She just wants to fight.
But she's just a fighter, and she's never worried about doing anything else but having fun.
Yeah. She's very into earthly pleasures, which of course just means fighting and nothing else.
Sex.
Oh, and that.
Yes, we've mentioned this before. They say earthly pleasures when they mean sex for Magic.
Like this character would be getting it on the daily if they could talk about that.
Yeah, and if Rakdos, if they could just mention it, that is where the red light district is.
That's the actual reason everybody goes and sees the Rakdos shows, because I'm always like, okay, would I go see a show that isn't interesting, involves murder, and where I could die? No, I wouldn't go see that show. Easy choice.
The fact of the matter is, if you add murder into it and say you couldn't, and you remove the couldn't die,
people would see that.
People are like crazy. Like it's crazy weird how people like
Purge, Hostel. There's plenty of movies like that.
Yeah, I mean, even watching. Yeah, we watch horror movies. Yeah, we know it's fake.
But it's based on real desires.
We're still watching people die. I don't know. I don't get. I enjoy those movies, but more for like the thriller aspect of like being kind of scared.
Yes.
I don't know. People love watching people die, and I don't.
All right. Next and last. This is the top commander of Commander Legends 4 non-partners.
Yes.
It is Orami of the Dead Tide. She made it all the way up to 28 above Animar Soul of Elements and below Brutaclad Telcor Engineer. My boy Brutaclad. 1 blue, black for a 1/4. Tap, exile 3 cards from your graveyard. Target creature in your graveyard gains Encore. I say 3 because when are you not going to have 3 opponents? So it gets better as you kill people.
Yeah.
1v1, busted.
This card's very, very strong. That's all there is to it. I mean, the fact of the matter is there's a million good things. How good is it with Grave Merchant? I mean, it's insane.
Yep.
3 entering simultaneously in
21.
21, and that's
with no effort.
No, isn't that 20? It's 24 because Arami's out.
Well, it's 7 times 3.
Oh, okay. It's bonkers. It's really
Massacre
bonkers.
Worm is another classic one. -6/-6 takes 6 damage for all of them. I like the, what are they even called? The Zuberas.
Yes.
There's a blue one that's a 1/2. When it dies, you draw a card for each Zubera that died. Well, 3 of them die at the same time, so you draw 9 cards.
Oh my god, we were trying to figure this out. This took us longer than it should have.
Yeah, let's talk about the ruling.
So the way the rules work. I know you activate it and you get the tokens for each opponent. Now I was thinking potentially the tokens each have a trigger attached to them, I wasn't sure.
that says sacrifice. Or do they all die at the same time? Because I was like, how many cards do you draw? If a Zubera dies, do you draw 1, 2, 3 or 3, 3, 3?
They all die simultaneously. The encore trigger is simultaneous and for all your tokens at the same time. So it's not 1, 2, 3. It's 3 gone simultaneously, meaning that they all check and 3 Zuberas have died.
And the black one says discards a card. So that one is they all discard 9 cards.
Yep.
Game over.
This card's super fun, but
I brute this deck. I was so close. I was so close,
that was
but
the
I
butt.
couldn't quite get there.
I lost the butt, but BZ couldn't get the interest in it. We did give it a 10 for fun. I do think it's super fun. I don't think it's that impressive. Sure. I think it can be annoying if you build it in an annoying way. Like, all I do is Grave Merchant every turn. Woohoo!
Yeah, but it's tied to Orami for the most part. So take Orami out, exile the graveyard. You're going to have no issue.
Yeah, exactly. And a 9 for art looks really cool. It's like that thing's in the way. She wanted to explore the world.
So sad.
But then some pirates, she was like, the pirates told their cool stories. Like, yeah, that's cool. And then she told cool stories of her hometown, and they went and pillaged it.
It's basically The Little Mermaid, but Prince Eric was a pirate. And then she's like, all right, I'm going to wait at the bottom of the ocean and kill everyone who passes me and is a pirate.
And then she got vengeful and killed them all.
It's sad because she never got to see the world. She's just grumpy in the water
now she just murders pirates.
Yeah, it's like, whoa.
Calm down.
Brutal.
And the 8 for uniqueness. Nah, I mean, Encore.
It says Encore. It's literally new. It's brand new.
Yeah, that's where all the uniqueness. There's not you don't get Encore except for on this little lady.
Mama Jamma.
Well,
that's it. That's all of them.
Yep. Yeah, I guess that is it. Wow.
All 30, 31?
Yep, that's all the commanders. Special shout outs to all of our patrons. We love you all as much as we can without making you comfortable. You guys are the poopy babies, and we do this for you.
The last you.
I hope you guys enjoyed these rankings. These take a lot of work, actually. It's one of those things where it's just I always think it takes less time than it does every time I do a new one.
We've done so many of these. We've ranked all 1,000 plus commanders.
Yeah, and I'm always like, 30, that'll take us like 10 minutes. 3 hours later, we're
like, okay, I'm doing this one. It's rank here. Joe, plug it in. We're like doing it at the same time because it takes so much work. I love like a half hour.
Oh god, there's so many partners. So many partners.
Yeah, it was tough, but it was so much fun. I love doing these ranking every commanders. Check out the TCG player link. Buy stuff. We get a kickback on the order through the link.
Yeah, absolutely. That helps us out a lot. Anything you can do to help the channel, share us with your friends. Watch it every day, clicking on the ads.
Yeah, word of mouth is really the best thing.
Yeah, word of mouth. Yeah, we get us out there.
It's free for you. If you're like, man, how do I support you guys if it's not Patreon or buying cards? Tell people about us.
Game shows on the comeback. Get ready for that.
We're working on it. We're closer and closer every day.
Guys, when the game show comes back, share it. Everybody, share it on Reddit. They can't stop us all.
They cannot shadow ban all of us on Reddit.
They can't stop us.
Hashtag notice the nerds. Still waiting on that wizard's acknowledgement of our existence. And
I'm going to act Gavin Fair here when I get home.
Oh, God. Just be like, hey. Just link our channel.
What's up, Gavin? How you doing? Tidbit about our lives.
Oh, boy. Working on Banana Split. We have to tease them on Banana Split. Another upcoming beefy project that we were doing.
It's a beefy boy.
A solid hour on it today. We're getting things ordered, trying to figure out, and then I'm going to start recording some sound bites for it.
Yeah, we're going to try a deck tech a little different than usual.
Yeah, we got a deck tech coming that's not going to be edited by us.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I know. We're going to see. We'll see how it goes. It's interesting, and I am definitely looking forward to trying this.
Yeah, it's going to be a bonus video probably next week.
Bonus
Yeah, realistically, I'll script it out today, ship it out to be edited, and then we'll maybe put it out like Tuesday or something.
Sounds good to me.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Peace out, Tribe Scout.